What's your name, sir?
Richard.
Richard, great to meet you. And so, do you buy any organic food or organic produce at all at home?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Tina, good to meet you, and thank you for agreeing to this. And hello. Hi, Ali.
Hello.
Buy organic food and organic produce at all?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
At all? Or in your
I do. I don't go out of my way.
Okay.
For it.
Frequently, yes.
Okay. Good to meet you, Rico. Thank you. Any organic produce at all?
Yeah.
Typically not so much right now.
It kind of depends on the situation. Since I'm vegan, a lot of the vegan products happen to be organic. I don't know if I necessarily seek out organic produce in the supermarket, but in the summers I go to the farmers markets.
Produce?
No, I don't.
Okay. So are you worried about pesticides in general?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably not as much as I should be.
Okay, what's in the
Yep.
food?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, from the standpoint of if I believe that there were high levels, yes. But,
Okay.
If you're asking when I go out, shopping on a weekend or something like that, it's not something that concerns me now.
okay. Food. So what kind of
Usually,
no, okay.
yeah,
So you don't know what exactly
yeah,
happens
you usually don't carry around the lab with you.
Okay.
So,
No, okay.
yeah,
So you don't know what exactly
yeah,
happens
you usually don't carry around the lab with you.
Okay.
So.
My name is Mehmet Ali Doke. I'm a graduate student in the entomology department in Penn State.
I'm Nari Soundarajan, and I'm a graduate student in Penn State's Department of Energy and Mineral Engineering. And that essentially brings us to Knowchem, a user-friendly tool that can be used to detect chemicals and also resolve food security issues. It's going to be economical, quick, and user-friendly. We conducted a quick, informal survey on social media. What we found out was that when people were asked if they hesitate to buy organic produce, they had several different reasons. They were more likely to buy organic for certain foods when they were aware of things like Dirty Dozen. There were a lot of others who were just concerned about the cost and were not sure if buying organic helped them in certain cases or if they're just paying more. So there's a lack of information, definitely. And when we did the poll and we did a frequency matching of the different keywords that they've been answering, we saw a lot of it revolved around dirty and cost factors, and price was an issue, and also knowing if it was chemical free or not. So we moved forward and actually conducted on-video customer survey with several customers, and what we found out there is presented in the next short clip. So continuing on, we have various detection protocols for pesticides and weedicides, but the big question is, how is the information conveyed to all the consumers? We see a lot of stores selling fruit and vegetable washes, which were the fad a few years back, but they've definitely fallen out of favor with a lot of customers who just feel simple washing would help. There are others, a lot of people on the internet, and especially if you go and search in YouTube, you see various techniques, and a lot of these are even myths, such as maybe doing with warm water or vinegar. Some other people talk of the benefits of alkaline water, and obviously you see vinegar, which is acidic, to alkaline water. Both parties are talking about these being helpful in removing residues and waxes and other chemicals. So there's a lot of information that's not available to the customer, and that's something we want to resolve. And we came up with this idea of putting together a very simple, user-friendly diagnostic kit. And that is basically targeted a lot towards people who are in certain age groups. One other manner we can look at pesticides is mainly by the classes, organophosphorus or carbamates, and in these cases the detection technology is well established. If we start to optimize our market, we look at vegetables by type, root vegetables, leafy vegetables, fruits, and maybe some of the aquatic type of plants and vegetables. Now, a lot of it depends on how is the toxicity level of the chemicals or the pesticide residues that are present defined as, and it also depends on what is the target group for these chemicals. I mean, how are these going to be affecting infants and younger children? So that would also lead to segmentation of the market. Broadly look at the market, we have the larger agribusinesses and farms that produce the fruits and vegetables. We have the consumers, the food processors, the retail consumers who buy the households, as well as certain bulk businesses like hospitals, restaurants, and prisons, and even the US military. You have the regulators, which is the FDA, and the US Department of Agriculture's Agricultural Management Service, which tests the retail products available in several states. And you have EPA, which actually sets pesticide safety and tolerance levels. And in between these are the grocery stores and the wholesalers who actually act as distribution channels for the produce, and who would also act as communication and distribution channels for Knowchem. So when you look at the pesticides that are already tested and the data that is available, you have the AMS providing continual testing on a lot of products such as bananas, broccolis, carrots, grape juice, green beans, salmon. They're also discontinuing the testing on certain products such as butter and raspberries, and they're adding new based on consumer demand, new products such as blueberries, cherries, and green beans. Now, when we look at the market segments that are actually impacted in terms of population, you see that there are large population centers in the United States. In the east, we have two major centers, the New York metro and the state of Florida. We have Illinois, which is again a large population state, Texas, and California. Even if we start with these initial states as a market segment to be looked at, we have several huge population groups and several metro centers that could be initially targeted. And overall in the United States in 2012 there were 4 million birds, live birds, and the population under the age of 15 can be roughly estimated to be about 20% of the US population, which is 316 million. So that's about 63 million. Now, the potential target market obviously is people who are concerned initially of these effects of residues and food safety, the younger children as well as pregnant mothers and growing children in families. And these are also the ones that are in schools and cafeteria programs. And a lot of those schools are actually encouraging fresh produce consumption, but there's not much testing that's being done in terms of the overall chemical safety in terms of carried residues into the food. So this is a large group that could benefit by both education as well as the use of the product. And we plan to enter the market and achieve about a target of 25% of these available groups through the various metro centers, and then in the continual years plan to grow by 10% for the next 4 years. The existing methods of the technology are just going to be used as they're available and licensed from other manufacturers who are already conducting tests as well as research, and these techniques are going to be then taken and given to manufacturers who can manufacture specific types of immunoassays, either on bioactive paper format or in terms of small microfluidic chips, disposable chips that could be made in polymers, and these would be basically sold to the consumers. There are certain companies that we have identified and spoken to that are interested in licensing this technology out, and these include companies that are working in producing bioactive papers, microfluidic chip manufacturers, and then to continue we would have to contact grocery stores and chains which would act as distribution channels. So overall, these are our projection numbers. Basically, for the first 2 years there's going to be a lot of research and development as well as marketing that needs to be done, and these costs would keep the profit margin substantially low. In fact, the company would be running in the red in the first 2 years, but we hope to start turning a profit from the third year onward, and from there on basically it's a question of how do we strategically look for some larger company to come in and acquire us, which could serve as a good exit point for investors. So that's basically the overall business plan model. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of specific product marketing channels as well as the education aspect via social media. But we feel we have a fantastic idea that can do with a lot of business innovation in terms of actually tapping a market that is available, and it'll also provide a very useful solution for consumers who are still in the dark regarding the actual chemicals that are present with their fresh produce that they're buying, be it organic or conventional produce.